Alright, so let's go ahead and get started. Today I have three things that I'd like to work on. The first is we're going to build a UI component. We're going to be building this guy right here. So this folder where you can see, or this little section here that you can see the folders, and you can see the files of the current repository that you're in. Then after that, we're going to be able to navigate this file tree. So what that means is being able to click on source, and it's going to take me to all the files that are inside the source folder. And then lastly, we're going to show all the contents of files. And what that means is when I click on package.json, I should see what the inside of package.json looks like. How could you build some sort of caching? Yep, so caching definitely is going to be needed at some point, and it makes a lot of sense because the way I want to do it is snapshotting it. So it's going to be something that doesn't change much at all. And so, yeah, it can just be cached pretty much permanently. Alright, so let's start working on this file tree component. So here's the Figma thing mockup that we're going to try building it based off of. And I don't know what I want to call this, maybe like folder tree. And I'm going to copy what we have, and I just need to pull the code off of GitHub because we had a lovely pull request. And I'm going to switch over to the UI repo, install the dependencies. Alright, so the props for this. Hey Lulu. The props for this are going to be this as input. So I want to input this, and so it's going to have these parameters on it. Let's call this a tree item, I guess, because it could be a file or a folder. So we're going to have a path, which is a string. I don't think I care about the mode here. I do care about the type. I don't think I care about this. And I don't think I care about that. No, I do care about the URL because we're going to link it. So I'll make that a string. And for now, we're not displaying the size of any kind, so we can ignore that. So we're going to have an array of them. So we're going to export default folder tree. Alright, so we're going to have an outer div here. And I'm actually in presentation mode, so I can't even like click and see things. So I'm going to switch so I can see like the dimensions. But we can create a container here. And this container is just going to wrap the entire thing. And it's going to have that border. So if I'm just on view mode, let's hop into perfect. Alright, so I can see what the color is, D7EEF, and I think we added a theme over here where we can get colors. Yeah, so we have colors, and we have primary, neutrals, errors, success. So D7EEFF. Do we have it here? We do not. So is this just a color we have not added to this? I think we just have not added this. I'm not sure the best way to actually theme this, so I'm just going to go ahead and hard code this for now, and maybe I should abstract this color into the theme. So we're going to say border. And I can't remember if this is the correct order of the syntax, but we want 1 pixel solid in that color. And so now I want to render this and just see what this is looking like. And I don't have it started yet. All right. So the next thing is pretty much just to loop over and to create a single item. Call this file or folder. Let's call it item, I guess. That might be a bad name though. So we have a background color that changes whether it's even or odd here. And I actually don't think there's anything. I was thinking of making this a styled component, but I actually don't mind just having it like this. And just passing in through the style prop. Hey, Platerus. Okay. All right, so we're gonna say even and odd, and we're gonna say mod. So if it's even, we'll show white, otherwise blue. Okay, I'm not correctly selecting this. Okay, I want to just grab one of these guys. feel like I messed this up. I'm just gonna Control Z a couple times. There we go. Because I had that weird highlighting over it. Because I want to see, I guess I can use the color picker. Yes, you're right. I'm pretty new at Figma. I'm not sure the easiest way to get this guy's color. That looks like what the color is though, maybe. Let's see, I think so. And here we can say item.path. So dist source. Let's put some items in here. So I could say view source. Is it not letting me? Let's see if just copying this will get a clean. Alright, so it doesn't like that we have this extra stuff. Alright, so I'm going to create a Vim macro, which I think should handle this pretty well. So what I can do is I can say delete this line, go down a line, delete these two lines, then go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it should be the same every time. Now we can just run that a couple times to clean up the code. And it looks like the last two got messed up. So we'll just do those manually. Because that one thing didn't have a size. Okay, so there's a file system. Alright, so we are now getting the kind of the box here with the stripes. The other thing is the text here is going to be using Rubik, and it is size 12. Okay, the other thing is we'll need to actually load this font. And I don't know if we are loading it anywhere. One way to tell is to inspect this. We can go over to computed values, and the font family Rubik shows up, so it is getting loaded somewhere. Awesome. It looks kind of small, like here compared to here. It looks like it's also a different text color. The other thing is we need to add some padding to it. So if I click away, I had like the right selection a second ago. There we go. Here's one that accesses the text. So what I want to check is it relative to basically I wanted to find the padding from here to here. I think what I have to do is like select Maybe this cell as well. I'll just give it a guess for the padding for now. Let's say 10. And it looks like it's roughly the same all around. All right. Maybe because I'm zoomed in, this looks bigger. This just looks so small to me. This just feels like it has a different feel. I wonder if the font is not being loaded in. Like, it looks like it's computed and it's setting the value. Let me just check the head. Are we using emotion? No, interesting. I wonder why we have emotion set here. I wonder if Storybook uses emotion then. Okay, I'll worry about it more in a second. The other thing I noticed is we want rounded corners. The line element. I can kind of measure like that actually. So this entire thing is 25 pixels. Yep, it's about 10 pixels it looks like. Wow, I was spot on there. Let's add rounded corners. Does it tell me how much radius? Probably does somewhere. We can just say radius. I believe like 9 will give us that. All right, so we're getting curved edges now, but there's this awkward no blue. And my guess is I'm giving it too much border radius. No. So when I increase the border radius, it just keeps inching away at the border. Don't you have Figma big zoom? That's why it feels... Yeah, I think that's what it is. It's because I'm zoomed into Figma. But even if I like zoom out though, doesn't the font feel like a little bit different here than here? Even though it's telling me Rubik is in both places. What about overflow hidden on the container? I should try doing that. Does that do anything with the radius? Oh wow, you're so right. I wonder why that is a thing. Thank you. CSS is a mystery sometimes. All right, it looks to me like there's a little bit of a shadow as well. All right, there's a drop shadow. All right, it doesn't tell me what the value is, so we get to choose that. I don't think we literally want to call the drop shadow. Instead of drop shadow. I'm surprised they don't have a good example with just black. Okay, so it's kind of like a grayish one. I'd say that much. It's kind of tight. I would say about that much. All right, let's see what this looks like on it. I'd say it's pretty close. We'll call that good for now. I feel like stuff is a little tighter. I feel like mine's a little more open. Let's go ahead and add the folder and the file icon. So these are from material icons. And so to get this, I was looking, we have to also set up material UI core. Yep, we literally want the folder. So it's going to be file/folder. Okay, that has a capital letter there, so we're going to try a capital letter here. Nice. You were implementing Material UI. It's a pretty nice library. I'm guessing like I just put color on it. We should get, oh, you know what? I didn't install the types for it. I was like, we should get some type definition for this. Alright, so those are our options for color, and I chose none of them. So I wonder if I can like do style. Maybe it's fill. So it doesn't air out, but I don't know if that's the right color. I don't think it is. Alright, this is complete. This guy's still loading. When it just takes a long time to load, usually I'll just restart TypeScript server. Let's go ahead and also grab the other one we're going to need. So we're going to need like this little file icon. What's it called? Insert drive file. Okay. Like I just have a feeling that this is not gonna work. Yeah, that was not it. What database will we be using for this project? I'm going to be using Postgres. Yeah, this is literally the only file icon. So I have to figure out how I access this because it has an underscore. Maybe we'll get some nice auto completion. Doesn't look like we're going. Oh, maybe. So I want file, no insert. This is being really slow. Alright, we'll come back to this in a second. I thought that would be fast to do. I actually think in their example they changed the color, so why don't I just look at what they do there. Yep, style color. They do like a theming thing. I'm not going to worry about that though. There we go. Alright, what about size? Because right now they're kind of gigantic. Font size? Yeah, I kind of didn't think that was going to affect it, but I don't see why else they were adding it there. I thought might as well give it a try. Style icons. I wanted to see if like in their component API they had something for icons. I don't think the font size small made it any smaller. Looks kind of just the same size. I actually don't know how to make this smaller. It's kind of awkward. I do want to line them up though. And I want to add some spacing. Cool. So So I think what I'll do is I'll just like try to figure this out later, how to change the size. The last thing I want to try working with this is like making it clickable and it changes the page. So what would this be named? Add underscores. Insert drive. So I don't want to repeat myself when I specify stuff for the icons, so I'm going to put them up here. So it's expecting a enum for the font size, and so it was a string, so I casted it to the type small, which is something it expects. And here I'm going to just check if the type is folder or not. And it looks like they call folders trees. And so now I can put the props on both of them. Have you ever used Vim? I'm currently using Vim. Well, not directly, but the Vim plugin. So here I can see our files. This guy's a package or a folder, and we can see it's a folder now. Nice. So I want to make them clickable. So instead of a div, we're going to make them an anchor tag. And I'm trying to decide how I want to do that, how I want to do like the link right here. I may just do a callback. Let's give that a try first. So we're going to say on item press, you give us the URL, which is a string, and then you can navigate however you want. And we'll just pass in the URL we get from GitHub. And maybe the URL doesn't matter and we should just pass in the path. I think we actually just care about the path and not the URL. We may change this part. And we don't do anything. Hey Beepo, is that how you're navigating around with code without using a mouse? Yep, so I'm using the Vim plugin VS Code, so I'm just using my keyboard to kind of navigate there. I think I have to give this an href to make it look like it's clickable. Storybook is a little slow to recompile. So let's use the color up here. This feels a little weird that we have underlines on them. Maybe we should get rid of that. But that's kind of how you know it's a link. Just curious what GitHub does. Okay, the links happen when you hover. So why don't we do the same thing? Alright, so they just add the text decoration when you hover. Okay, and they have it default to none. So we can't actually add a hover unless we use CSS or styled components. So we're going to create a link here. I'm just going to call it capital A. And we're going to say text decoration none, and then we can do an ampersand to say that's our class. That stands for the current items class or current components class. And then we're going to say when it's hovering, is it called line? Underline. Nice. So now we get that underline effect. Random question, have you worked with Slate.js before? I haven't. I've used Draft.js, which is kind of similar, and I'm planning on trying Slate.js for this. Hey, what will we be using for the editor? Are you talking about... I have to go to my own source. Like where I can click on a file and edit like this kind of editor. Because I don't think I'm going to support that sort of thing. Alright, so here's our folder tree. I'm now pretty happy with how this looks, at least for a first version. So we are done with the first part that we wanted to do, create this file tree component. Does anyone have any questions with what we've done so far or in general? For the icon size, I think we can use height and width. Let's give it a try. I'm guessing we could do it on the style. Excellent. I think that looks pretty good size-wise. It's hard to tell. Does it give us like a height and width on it? 16. So a little bit bigger. And now I'm very happy with this. I think the only thing we can maybe improve on this compared to what we have here, I think it's pretty similar. I think the text just is the main thing that looks a little different. And I'm not sure if this is the best kind of like hover effect that we want to do. The other thing is I just need to build the code. And now we can access this in the other place. Usually you only need to specify one property. Are you talking about for the height and width? I think you're probably right. Since an icon is pretty much always going to be a square, Alright, so are we ready to move on to the next thing? So the next thing is to be able to navigate this tree. So what that means is the same thing that it means on GitHub. So when I'm on this, I can click on assets and I can see what is in that folder. So we're going to implement that next. So let's go ahead and just go to the website. And it's going to be the repo page. So what this does right now is it grabs the URL, the query anyway, in the URL, and it uses that to get the tree. So what that means is, I'll show you what that means. We actually don't have it started up right now, I don't think. Start the website. See if we can close material icons. I think we're done with that. We're going to be dealing with the path to regular expressions with this, I believe. And shallow routing will do. Don't need the box shadow anymore. And yeah, we'll get rid of this mockup. I actually forgot about this particular piece of the mockup, but I think that's something we can add at a later point. Alright, so this should be at localhost 3000, and we have something wrong, and this is our website server index. Expected 2 arguments, got 3. Alright, so just not pass that in. And I'm going to go ahead and just close Storybook down. Nope, looks like we're ready to close it down. Mern asks, can you explain a bit about Storybook and what you're using it for? So I'm just using Storybook to render the component so I can see what it looks like as I develop it. Okay, so this is the home page, which is going to be just the index. Alright, so I'm guessing the button here has no exported member button. We don't have it set up like this, do we? No. Alright, so something got messed up in the UI library. So we have dist, we have package.json, dist source index.js. Index.js. Here we're requiring a button. Can just rebuild. I don't think that will fix it. Let me just verify what the index over here looks like I should expect it should. Yeah, I mean, we're exporting all. I think it's because we're doing an export default now. So we'll also export it there. It'll be a style guide for the site. Yeah, so the Storybook will kind of serve as a style guide as well. And you can kind of see all the components that the library has and stuff. So I'm thinking I can find what the type is for the file tree maybe. There's a lot of trees. So it has a path. See how many things have a path. 57 paths. There's a mode. 20. There's only 20 of those. Get create tree response. This is what we want. Yep. Actually, we're not creating the tree, so it may be this, but that everything is possibly undefined. So I'm just going to use this one. And it's going to be an array of them. So we rebuilt the UI package, and so I'm just going to restart next. And we can see if it crashes over here. Looks like it's building. So this is our login with GitHub. Here's our button. I'm already logged in. I'm going to say pick a repo. Did I not? I guess I didn't do it so it actually links you over. We'll do that in a second. Alright, I totally forgot what route I created. So it's in my server routes. I called it repo and the owner. Yeah, that's the right repo. So the change that we made over here with this parsed URL is necessary. So we're just going to tell TypeScript to just ignore that because it should be there. Was it in the console? What do you mean is in the console? The log? So we couldn't even find the route, so it's not going to log it yet. Ooh. So we were able to find this route yesterday, I believe. So I'm thinking the only difference was I removed this parsed URL, which has to do with finding this route. So I'm guessing. Nope, I got something. Oh. There we are. I was just reading this route incorrectly. So we don't actually have repo in front of it. We just do owner/repo, which is exactly what GitHub does, and that's fine. So we're gonna log that. This may not be needed anymore then. Yep, does not need that parsed URL. Okay, so here's our file tree. We're just not going to render a button because I don't want to deal with this right now. So now we can import our component from CodePonder UI. Why did I call it a folder tree? It's really a file tree. I'm just guessing we're passing the wrong thing in, so let me just log what that looks like. Oh, it's getting logged on our server. Okay. All right, so we have data. We have data, then we should get the tree, and trees where we're gonna do it. Okay. I was just getting so confused with the pathing there. Cool. So now here's our file tree. And when I click on this, we see packages. If I click on this, stack it, ignore. Nice. So let's change the page now. So I'm trying to think if it's going to do deeply nested folder paths, like multiple levels deep. Let's just do a very simple example of this. Nah, I know I'm going to do this recursively, so let's just do this now. So what you're about to see is this is going to be ginormous now. Do I just need to refresh? Yeah. So now this is every single file in our entire repository. Nice. So now what I want to do is only show the first level. Okay, so this is going to get a little bit involved because what we're going to need to do is figure out what level each one of these paths is at and only render the first level, which is these guys. And then when someone clicks deeper, we're going to show them this, and we're going to also have to update the URL. So what I think I'm going to do is focus on this tomorrow, and that'll be the focus of tomorrow's stream. So I think I'm going to end the stream here. I'm going to stick around for a few minutes and answer any questions you guys have, and then we'll wrap it up for today. If a slash is found, it's not the first level. Exactly. And well, I'm going to have to do some kind of like split by slash, because I'm going to, like, this is going to be 3 levels deep. So we're going to split just by slash, I think is an easy way to like figure out the levels as well. And then maybe, I think I should just parse this into like a dictionary or object kind of data structure, where if I click on packages, it's it's linked to all these. Actually, so I guess, yeah, some kind of object mapping I think would be best. And where each level is kind of linked to each other, I think is what I'll go for. And then we're going to try using shallow routing to change the URL, but not refresh the page. Wouldn't it just be easier to send the files as they are called? I was thinking about that. Like, maybe I should just do that too, because that would be simpler than like making my own implementation of it right now. So like if I go to binawad/codeponder/packages, I would like to see all the files in packages. Right, so that's what happens when you do it here. So binawad/codeponder/ and they do tree/master before that, so you know which branch it's in. But here are all the files for packages. And so if I do it this way, and that means I wouldn't do it recursively here. That's one option, and maybe I should just do it that way, and then I don't have to get fancy with the routing on the client side and do like shallow routing and stuff. If that's the case, then I just need to figure out from the API over here how I do that request. So here we're saying get trees/master, and I tried just adding packages on the end, but that did not work. So I'm gonna have to figure out how I do that. And like how GitHub does it is like, see how it has, so like here's packages. They have codeponder/git/trees and then this hash. Right, and then git trees and then the hash. But I have no way of knowing, I think, what the hash is. I mean, obviously it's this SHA hash there. But I'm not sure how I actually... Yeah. It is. But I'm not sure how I... Actually... Can I create this then? Is this something that's created based off of the path? Let me see if I... So the idea is I need to figure out, given this path, how do I turn this into a GitHub API? I do get it in the call, but for example, like let's say if someone goes to this URL, right? So for us, that would be /packages/common. If we make this request, and we pass in these query parameters like binawad/codeponder to the API, we get the first level. We get all these files. And we see packages here. So I can click on packages and then fetch the common and then fetch and fetch. But there should be some way to just like fetch directly. I don't know if that makes sense, but basically I want to pass this URL in. There should be some way. I just need to find out, because like we know the hash if we fetch it, but I don't want to look it up by hash. I want to look it up by the name the person passed in the URL. GitHub is a GraphQL endpoint. Why is the REST endpoint used here? Awesome work, Ben. So I'm using the REST endpoint right now because it was just super easy to get started with, and Octolink has TypeScript types, so I get nice type support as well. And the other and then pretty much the other thing was I didn't want to get confused with having two Apollo clients, and there's just going to be added complexity if I try having an Apollo for my GraphQL server and Apollo for my GitHub server. I was thinking maybe schema stitching them together, but basically the answer is the REST API is just easier to work with as of right now, and I might switch to the GraphQL API at some point. I think I just need to read this page. I think this probably answers how I should do this. Yeah, I'll have to read through this. That's it for tonight, guys. Thanks for watching.